When Daniel found the small apartment at the end of Hollow Street, he thought it was a miracle because the rent was low, and the landlord never asked questions, and the place looked quiet and clean. But the first night when he spoke out loud, asking where the light switch was, a faint voice whispered from the wall saying, "Right there, Daniel." And he froze because he never told anyone his name yet. He tried to laugh it off, thinking it was his imagination, or maybe a strange echo from the neighbors. But there were no neighbors, because the next morning he checked both sides, and both apartments were empty and sealed. And the hall was silent, as if no one had walked there for years. And when he returned inside, he spoke again, testing the air, saying hello, and the wall softly answered "Hello, Daniel," in the exact same tone and voice, like it had recorded him perfectly. And he felt a chill run down his spine, because it was not an echo. It was learning him. He stopped talking after that, but at night the walls began to murmur on their own, saying small things like hungry or lonely, and once they whispered, "Stay with us," and he wanted to move. But something about the air felt thick, like the apartment would not let him leave, because every time he reached the door, the knob turned cold, and the whispering grew louder, begging him to come back to the center of the room, where the air pulsed like breath, and the floor hummed under his feet as if alive. And he started hearing his own thoughts repeated before he could even think them, like the room was inside his head, or his head was inside the room. On the fourth night, he woke up to his own voice calling his name from the kitchen, saying, "Daniel, come see what we made." And when he walked there, half asleep, he saw words forming on the wall, written in the paint itself, pulsing red under the dim light, saying, "Welcome home, Daniel. We missed you." And he could hear a heartbeat behind the plaster, slow and deep, like the house itself was alive and waiting. And then the voice spoke again, softer and closer, saying, "You left us once, remember, and now you are back, and we are hungry for your voice again." And he tried to scream, but his throat made no sound because the walls were already speaking for him, saying, "Don't be afraid. We will keep you forever inside us." By morning, the landlord came to check the apartment because the neighbors had complained about whispering through the vents. But when he opened the door, the room was empty and spotless. Except for one thing, the walls now had a faint pattern, like veins pulsing faintly under the paint. And if you stood quietly long enough, you could hear it breathing. And sometimes when the sun went down, it whispered one word through the thin air: "Daniel,